With the second season of Ted on the horizon, I went back and revisited the first season to give myself a refresher as I hadn't watched it since release. I forgot how surprisingly good the show really is. And I don't mean that in the sense that I thought it was going to be bad, it just went above expectations. Maybe I was just lowballing it in general because when I heard that there was going to be a prequel series to Ted, initially I thought, why? Ted was a pretty big deal back when it dropped, back when Family Guy was still a big dog on TV, at least for a lot of us at school who adored those late night raunchy programs. Everyone seemed excited for the creators of Family Guy's new live action movie, featuring Mark Wahlberg and his talking teddy bear. Ted is a good movie. It plays on the stoner comedy genre for sure, but there's a lot of levels of heart to that film. The plot focuses on this guy who is stuck in his life. He has no higher ambitions, or a side of him does, but another holds him back. He struggles to look for a better career. His girlfriend wants him to get married, wants a more serious life, but he would rather just sit on the couch, getting high with his teddy bear, watching Flash Gordon. Of course, you've got the security blanket symbolism there with Teddy being something safe and nostalgic, but the teddy bear is also alive, and very much takes the role of the best friend. He's the funny one. Even if he wasn't a magically alive teddy bear, he would still be someone realistic in our lives. He helps enable those lack of ambitions for John, interferes with his life and gets him in trouble, but he's also there for the most part when it matters, and definitely brings fun to the table. In a way, Ted brings in a lot while not doing something drastically different from other buddy films. The sequel, unfortunately, didn't hold up as well. I do actually remember seeing this one in theaters, I think maybe even opening week. And while I actually think the overall plot of the sequel had a lot of potential for hitting those same emotional points as the predecessor, it felt so reined in. As if the writers just didn't have that same spark or desire. Case in point with the movie being a lot of recycled Family Guy skits. And sure, they make callbacks all the time, but these were just overtly redos. It felt lethargic in a way. There are great bits, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of really funny moments in the sequel for sure.
I've been led to understand that tricks are exclusively for children. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, they say tricks are for kids in the commercials.
And is that enforced by law?
Not to my knowledge, no.
I just don't think that the entire film holds up as well as the first, but that's not too uncommon with sequels now, is it? So after Ted 2 didn't do as well reception-wise, I didn't expect to actually see the old duo show up again.
Fuck!
The concept of the Ted TV series had been bounced around for years, rumors and discussions going on. Seth couldn't get Mark off his busy schedule and opted that a prequel would open more interesting stories. And he's right on that one. The show was ordered by Peacock. The only reason I even bothered to make a Peacock account was to watch this show. I frankly can't even remember if I was aware of Peacock before this show came around, maybe? It wasn't a very powerful choice. The show did become Peacock's most viewed original series. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder if that played into how slept on this series felt. It did well enough, but I just didn't hear a whole lot of people really talk about it. It did well enough to warrant a second season, assuming it's not, just like most streaming shows where the second season is already produced in high anticipation. Either way, we've got a new season in a few weeks. The plot is a prequel set in the early 90s. Ted's fame has already been exhausted, and now life is back to normalcy. So much so that high school students couldn't give two shits about a talking teddy bear with the mentality of a grown man going to class with them. John is 16, entering his junior year of high school. After an accident at home, John's father, Matty, decides to have Ted enrolled at school, bringing us their mini buddy adventures of this series. Now, it's actually a coming-of-age series. Funnier than the first two films, I think. No, I'm actually sure.
Oh, last year we had an Indian kid.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but they got him.
What does that mean?
I liked him, too.
Wait, what do you mean they got him?
He used to share his Dunkaroos. Good guy.
Let me also just throw out how nice it is to see a TV show not afraid to have colorful visuals. There's such a drought in good color grading these days. It might feel a little concerning at the opening as it's throwing all of its cards at you with setting up the family. Family is the big theme here, and that brings in a big clash. You have the parents, which are quite remodeled from their reception in the original film, originally played by Ralph Garman and Lois Griffin herself, Alex Borstein. Now replaced with Steve and Anita Smith, Scott Grimes, who, can I just say, is not in enough stuff. He is seriously such a good actor. I was surprised when I revisited Band of Brothers last year after watching this on its debut. That guy has so much range, and I'll get into that with Maddie. And the mother, Susan, is played by Alana Ubach. Alana also nails this type of role perfectly. She does that stare with every line delivery, has the best facial reactions.
There's your finger.
Joining them is Susan and Maddie's college-going niece, Blair, played by Georgia Wingham, whose family situation at home is really awful, so she lives with the main cast of characters. Maddie is your typical blue-collar, exhausted war vet who was dishonorably discharged.
I wasn't dishonorably discharged or honorably discharged.
Well, the Army basically said, it's not you, it's us.
That's right.
We're not sure we're ready to have anybody in the Army right now.
More or less.
The Army just wants to focus on the Army for a while.
And extremely conservative, who is contrasted by the very academic cynic, who is on the other hand very liberal. So, Stan and Haley in a sense. This, of course, is going to be the center of much conflict throughout the series, not to mention that this whole dinner table scene is incredibly funny.
I'm not a racist. My favorite movie is Rocky.
How the fuck does that make you not racist?
Apollo Creed is in the movie.
So?
So, he's a black guy who wins against a white guy.
Oh my god.
Man, it's assuming you count Italians as whites, which I mostly do.
Susan is the middle ground. She doesn't really care about the politics as much as she just wants to love her family and doesn't want anyone to be at each other's throats. I quickly started to see Susan really as the heart of the series, and I'll come back to that. As well as Ted and Johnny, who are not only the middle ground for a lot of this, Ted not really giving a shit, and Johnny being 16. In many cases, they are just witnesses absorbing the scene, with Ted throwing in his comedic jabs whenever he can. This happens quite a bit in the series, refreshingly showing that Ted and John are not the sole narrative here, but rather the Bennett family as a whole. Characters that originally existed for just an opening act have been converted into the most important piece of the story. That's how you effectively make a prequel. With John and Ted, we have this coming of age side of things, getting into lots of teenage and high school shenanigans, starting with their introduction to pot being the best dinner scene in the show.
Yeah, like who invented food? That guy rocks.
Dealing with 90s bullies in a very interesting way. First time watching porn, as well as John's big overarching fear of being the last virgin in his class. All of these narratives interweave brilliantly with the family, bringing in surprising emotional weight to these stories, such as the time when John and Ted rented porn, which started with Jurassic Park, mind you. John sees renting porn as a major step in maturity, as he does many of these tales. But when the tape gets stuck in the VCR, it's found by Susan. Susan, as I said, really does feel like the heart of the show. Nothing matters more to her than her family. She's a bit gullible and old-fashioned, but she knows what she wants. And it can be frustrating with Maddie, who is a bit more reserved.
I'll need 4 boxes from you and shovels from you so these people can go.
What are you doing?
After watching the porn, it brings out this doubt. In this confessional, she admits her fears of Maddie not being attracted to her anymore. Which is really heartbreaking because Maddie, well, he does love her in his own hardened way. He took her out for dinner, wasn't exactly a gentleman about it, ignoring how she got dressed up for him, forcing her to put a rusty nail in their food when he only went in the first place because he had a coupon. And all of that leads poor Susan to see herself as the problem. She blames herself for being boring to Maddie. All because Johnny wanted to watch Genital Hospital. That's a really weird sentence to say when my name is also Johnny. Which closes on an incredible narration from Ian McKellen.
And now, today, anyone you talk to has jerked off within the last 20 minutes.
There's so much porn!
A major plot point is Blair constantly telling Susan that she should stand up for herself against Maddie or the family and do what she wants. After some family therapy, they learn that she did go to college but didn't pursue her teaching aspirations when she married Maddie. Conveniently, a position opens up when John and Ted's teacher has a breakdown. This guy is fucking hilarious.
Everyone please read pages 81 to 96. I'm kidding, I don't give a shit!
Susan again proves herself to be one of the best characters when a student attempts to badger her, but the end result is Susan comforting the student. Something this series does so well is take real dark, dramatic, emotional moments and make them so damn funny.
Not really. They're just obsessed with solving my brother's stupid murder.
Oh.
It's like you have a daughter too.
Would you like some chocolate milk?
In the end, Susan does really stand up for herself against Blair, because Susan is happy with her life and she knows what she wants. And hell, she did get to experience that dream and decided it wasn't for her. Not a lot of people get that luxury. And Maddie is Maddie. He is so goddamn funny, and Scott Grimes is a little too terrifyingly good at the role.
Christ, Susan. It's like this, John. Men and women have different parts, and those parts fit together like a piston and a cylinder. Just give the motor a minute to warm up. If you gun it, you're gonna blow a gasket, seize up, and you're looking at minimum $1,000 for a new engine block. That's sex. Fuck me.
I think we've all known a Maddie in our lives. He's not evil, as proven in the Christmas episode, but he is certainly ignorant.
Two men shouldn't be singing harmony.
Dad, I thought you liked Hall & Oates.
That's different.
Why?
Because they sing in unison, or they take turns, one and then the other one. That's okay.
What about Crosby, Stills, and Nash?
Well, they're all right for now, but I'm keeping my eye on them.
You're a complicated man.
The best scene by far is War monologue revealing his deep dark secret to the family. It's not necessarily the things they carry.
Jacked off a dog!
All the political conflict comes to an all-time high Christmas when Blair reveals that she's sexually fluid. Oh, and Maddie brings to life his childhood toy that just happens to be an absolute menace. Dennis at first seems like the embodiment of Maddie's prejudice, but it turns into something far worse. It's a far more extreme case of Ted and his relationship with John, which, yes, Ted does hold him back, more so in his adult years, but he's still a good friend and cares for John. Right now, he's just too hung up on the fact that he might be Jesus. A contender for the funniest scene in the entire series.
This guy.
The birth of Christ was a heavenly miracle.
Well, I mean, what do you call this? I mean, I don't see any pound puppies or Monchhichis walking around.
Jesus had a divine purpose. God sent him to us to spread the word that he loves us.
I love you.
Your move, Friar Tuck.
But Maddie proves that he can stand above such things and put family first, and does something he almost never does, something he's probably never done to Blair before, as opened in the first episode.
Maddie, tell her you're sorry.
Of course he won't.
I'm sorry.
And then Dennis reveals his big secret, which had been also foreshadowed earlier in the episode.
You wanna know why?
Why?
Because I have thoughts of men!
Blair is the new addition, a character that I don't believe has been mentioned before. While she is John's cousin, takes the role of the big sister. She does her best to look out for John in hopes that he turns out better than his parents. To be a more balanced person who takes the better traits of his family and hopefully none of the negative ones. I mean, hell, she's also trying to help Teddy out too. She tries expanding their minds, but it doesn't always pan out. Like I said, we've all known a Maddie in our lives, and I think a lot of us have known a Blair too. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Blair get some more stories in the second season, a little more to expand on the character, because I think there is more that could be explored. Having investing characters like these makes the show so much stronger. We aren't so reliant on just John and Ted like the Halloween episode proves, in which Blair needs Ted to be her DD for a Halloween party, leaving John alone for the night, breaking their annual traditions. I really enjoyed all the different Halloween specials Johnny's watching on TV, so the same ones I revisit yearly. This turns into a Blair and Ted adventure, which actually ends up being one of the best episodes. And can I just say I love all of these costumes. Blair and Ted both get drunk, resulting in spending time with their college professor. What's really horrifying to me watching this is that I did have an English professor very similar to this man. Although I hope he's never done this.
I want to make love to you. Oh.
On the other side, Susan is concerned with John being alone, so she calls for the son of her friend to come over. This is a child's nightmare.
You know what's great?
What?
Crack.
It's like being forced to socialize with the weird kid, but even worse, he's a near 40-year-old man who, weirdly enough, gives some noteworthy advice. It's an important lesson in growth for John to try not to be so dependent on Ted, or maybe a warning is a better term to use. The warning comes full circle when John's fears in the season finale. John desperately wants to lose his virginity as his junior prom approaches, and he looks to Ted for advice, even ignoring Blair, who is more suited for this scenario.
Just be yourself, okay? The rest will happen naturally.
I think I'm gonna do it Ted's way.
That is a very self-destructive sentence.
It is cute seeing the lengths that he goes through, developing feelings for Bethany, Maddie giving John a rough and true father-son heart-to-heart, Johnny revealing to everyone his secret, embarrassing himself in front of the whole school just to prove he wasn't lying to the girl he likes. Their moment, unfortunately, is ruined by a historical event.
Vehicle of O.J. Simpson. Now, as you can see there, it's traveling very
Holy
slowly.
shit!
The season ends with Ted and Johnny making their iconic Thunder Buddies song. Honestly, this is an appropriate ending that leaves room on the table for more stories, but if the worst case happened and there wasn't a follow-up, it's a decent closing. Undoubtedly, I enjoyed this show way more than the movies, and surprised the hell out of me. Some will say that this is just Family Guy in live action, and yeah, there are some recycled bits. Ted is similar to Peter, and a lot of familiar voices make guest appearances. Mike Henry was my favorite.
A person, anyone, could be talking to you and relieving themselves at the same time. And you'd never even know it.
Okay.
And that's great news.
Are you wearing a diaper?
No, don't make this weird.
Okay.
I also love this Pippin guy.
He's doing Pippin? He's fucking doing Pippin. God damn it, no Pippin!
Sitting on the floor and talking till dawn. Candles and confidences.
Clive's gonna beat the shit out of him.
But I feel calling it live action Family Guy is really dismissing how good the show actually is on its own. It has significantly more emotional weight, and I can't remember the last time I watched a show that actually had me cackling damn near the whole thing. A show that perfectly balances heartful narrative with comedy. A cast with genuine electric chemistry. And I'll admit, some of the newer actors are a bit green, some performances are stronger than others, but I really felt attached to them, to their drama, to their dysfunction. I really hadn't realized how much I was missing something like this until Ted came along. So yeah, I'm excited for season 2. I cannot wait. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend checking out Ted. And if you have seen it, let me know in the comments below what are your favorite moments or quotes from the show. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that little bell to get notifications of new videos when they come out. And be sure to check out my socials to see whatever I'm ranting about. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.